Thank you for your help.
All right, welcome to the Illinois Association for College Academic Advising, Admissions Counseling, and StriveScan's virtual college exploration for all Illinois students. So today's session will be recorded and you will be able to ask questions of our panelists. So please feel free to use the Q&A button to type your questions to presenters at any time. Your camera and microphones are off. So again, please make sure to contact our presenters today via the Q&A function. This is one of many college presentations that are being held this fall semester. So please feel free to go to IACAC.org and you will be able to view all the other sessions. And again, the recordings will be available again at the IACAC website. I will send it over to our friends from Kenyon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And welcome to you all this evening. We are so thrilled that you have chosen to join us. I know you have a plethora of choices in terms of schools you can visit with this evening. And so we are very, very thrilled that you are with us here tonight for the Kenyon College session. My name is Jack Geyer. I am an Associate Director of Admissions with Kenyon College. I'm in my 4th year with the college, and I am the admissions representative for the state of Illinois. So I am your representative for Kenyon. Any questions or comments or things that you have on your mind related to Kenyon, if those come to your mind after tonight's session, please feel free to shoot me an email, contact me, and I'd love to continue the conversation with you all after tonight about anything related to Kenyon. I am joined by 5 of my colleagues here this evening, 4 current students that come from a broad array of different academic and extracurricular backgrounds at Kenyon, and I'll have them introduce themselves, as well as my colleague Ellen Turner, who will serve as tonight's co-moderator, and she will kind of explain her role further tonight when she introduces herself. But again, I'll have our 4 students introduce themselves, and then we'll have Ellen. Emmy, do you want to kick us off?
Hi, my name's Emmy Cardinali. I'm a senior English major, originally from Caracas, Venezuela, but I grew up in Potomac, Maryland, right outside of DC. Outside of academics and working for admissions, I'm the co-design editor for the Kenyon Collegian, which is our student-run newspaper. I write for her campus, Kenyon, which is like a national organization that has chapters at different colleges. I dabble in theater. I'm on the board of a playwriting organization, and I'm a member of Greek Life. I'm in one of our 4 sororities.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Emmy. Iggy, you want to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone. So nice to meet you guys. My name is Iggy, she, her, hers. I am a sophomore molecular biology major, chemistry and English double minor from Chicago on the pre-med track. Outside of working with the amazing admissions team, I am a STEM scholar and also an orientation leader. And I'm also involved with REACH and K-STEM, which are 2 mentoring programs that we have for first years. I also do some biology research, and I'm involved with club cheerleading and Greek life.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Iggy. Vic, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vikoski Day. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm from Dublin, Ohio, which is like right outside of Columbus. I'm a sophomore in neuroscience and economics double major. I'm on the pre-med track with minors in chemistry and philosophy. Aside from my classes, I'm part of the Ultimate Frisbee team, and I'm currently the vice president of KC Meds, which is a club focused on giving students experiences in the medical field, as well as working with a nonprofit consulting group that's focused on helping small businesses in the Columbus area.
Fantastic. And last but certainly not least, we have Ubong.
Thanks, Jack. Hi, everyone. My name is Ubong. I'm a sophomore biology major, anthropology minor. I'm from Nigeria. My pronouns are she, her, hers as well. On campus, apart from working for the admissions office Of course, I'm also the vice president for the Student Life Committee on campus. So housing, dining, and student orgs, I can definitely speak to that as well. I am currently the international intern for the Center for Global Engagement. So off-campus study and just, international migration into the US are things that I think about very often. I'm a member of the Black Student Union, the African Students Association, and also a member of Sisterhood on campus.
Amazing. Thank you so much to the four of you for joining us this evening and for your your perspective that you will share with everyone tonight. It's so very valued. And last, we also have Ellen Turner, my colleague, who will be our co-moderator tonight. Ellen, if you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
Thanks, Jack. Hi, I am Ellen Turner, as Jack said, and I'm also one of the admissions officers at Kenyon. My responsibility is actually the state of Ohio and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, but my relationship with Kenyon is long and vast. I actually worked in admissions when I graduated from the college back in a long time ago, let's just say. And I spent about 30 years being a high school guidance counselor, and now I've returned to admissions. So I have a bookend career in admissions, in addition to being a guidance counselor and sort of understanding what all of you are going through right now. So we're delighted you're here with us this evening. I am Jack's co-moderator, and as such, I'll be monitoring the Q&A. So please, as questions come up, get them in the Q&A, and I will then feed them to our panelists or to Jack as appropriate. And also, if you want to send a question to me directly, I believe you can also do that in the Q&A if there's something that you don't want to be out there in the world, and I will respond to you privately and provide that information for you as well. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Ellen, for joining us this evening and for the role that you will play tonight as well. I will put one last plug in, echoing Ellen's idea of any questions or things you might want the panel to answer. Please, anything related to the Kenyon experience, right? So whether it's academically related, life outside the classroom, life in Gambier, Ohio, where we're located, anything of the sort. Our panelists bring a broad array of wealth and knowledge to the table, and they are current students, so they can really speak to the entire experience at large. I think an opening question that I think would be fantastic to pose for our students to kind of get us to kick things off. I'm wondering if the four of you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your story of how you first found Kenyon, right? So, all four of you come from four different, parts of the country and the world, and all ended up at Kenyon. So how did you first hear about the college, and what was it about, or anything during your time of the college search process that led you to ultimately making that decision, like, hey, I know I want to come to Kenyon, and Kenyon is the school for me. Iggy, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, of course. I think what really shaped my whole college search, it started with my high school experience. I think, I wanted to learn in a smaller environment. I wanted to learn in a more collaborative environment. I wanted better relationships with my professors, teachers, and faculty members. And Kenyon was sort of a hidden gem for me. I remember talking to this community-based organization that I was a part of, and I told them that I really loved science. I really loved all the science classes that I had taken in high school, but at the same time, I had this passion for writing, for English, and for film. And they recommended Kenyon to me. And they said Kenyon is a place where you can really explore all different passions, and you can do that in 4 years. And so I remember applying, and I think what really helped me choose Kenyon was my admitted students day visit. I remember, the first time I walked into the admissions office, I met my admissions representative, and she knew my name, my passions, my hobbies, and my essay, and I just felt so wanted at Kenyon. And I remember walking down Middle Path, which is our central artery that connects every building on campus, and all of these current students were just smiling at me, saying hi, and there was such this welcoming feeling. And I truly believe that Kenyon has the nicest people. So I would have to say it was, the people, and also the really strong academics and diverse, the diverse academics for me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Iggy. Ubang, do you want to go next? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think My own experience, of course, was a little bit different from Iggy's. I was schooling in South Africa at the time, so I did not really have the liberty to come to visit Kenyon. But I remember walking into my guidance counselor's office, and I remember this conversation so well because it stuck with me throughout. And I told her I wanted a school that was small, that was collaborative, but at the same time, I wanted a place that people were not just fixating on their grades, like they cared about other things outside of just what they were doing in the classroom. And she literally threw her hands up in the air and said, "Oh, apply to Kenyon." And I still think about the moment till today. I love Miss Dora. She's an amazing, amazing counselor. So when no one from my high school ever been to Kenyon. So I asked her, like, where is Kenyon? Like, what is Kenyon? Because I had never heard of the school before. And she encouraged me to sign up for an interview with the admissions office. I was interviewed by Thomas Stanton, an amazing interviewer. And he helped me understand what was the essence of being a Kenyon student, in that he was, very committed in the classroom, political science and an English major as well. But on the weekends, he was making like bad rap beats with his friends. He was going down to the cocoa sing. He was having fun. So he was human. He was living, even though he was very, very intellectual at the same time. And once I got off that interview, I told Miss Dory, I'm going to Kenyon. So I applied ED2 actually, and I trusted the website. And I'm just here to say, please leave on the website if you can visit, because it will save you a lot of stress.
Thank you, Ubong. Emmy?
Yeah, I had like a mentor mention Kenyon to me long before I was thinking about college. Like it was like freshman year of high school, and I was like, I'm not gonna worry about that yet, please and thank you. And it was kind of always in the back of my mind. And so when I started like figuring out what I wanted, it just kept coming back, and it kept being like, I think it's really like that person like knew me so well, because it was 100% what I wanted. And my visit really helped me as well. And I applied ED1. I've kind of like always wanted to go to Kenyon. I mean, not always, because again, I wasn't thinking about college like when I was like 5 or anything, which is fine if you are. I just like was more of a like, I'm gonna focus on my classes now and less about like college. So I kind of always wanted to go to college, and there are a lot of like small things along the way that kind of like, looking back, they're like weird coincidences. Like I was obsessed with the movie Liberal Arts, which was filmed at Kenyon by like a Kenyon alum, and that's like such a random movie to like care so much about. And just like weird little things like that. The English class in high school that made me like want to be an English major in college, like the first thing we read was like the David Foster Wallace This Is Water speech that he gave at Kenyon. So it's just like there were a lot of like little things along the way of the universe being like, go to Kenyon. If you know the song Invisible String by Taylor Swift, there was an invisible string tying me to Kenyon. So I think I was just meant to come here.
I love that. Thank you, Emmy. Vic?
Yeah, mine was a kind of interesting experience actually, because like I started my college process a little bit late, and I was looking through a couple other colleges. When I attended my the sessions that were more in person, then I was looking at kind of bigger schools, and then like I had my session with Ellen actually, our co-moderator here. She came to my high school, and it was just me and Ellen in that room that day. And just for that like 1 hour, like Ellen and I was doing some interesting research at the time, and Ellen and I just discussed that research and like what I wanted to do in the future, and like how like the college I would go to would help me in this scenario, and just kind of just talk to me for like an hour. And that kind of like intellectual conversation kind of gave me a glimpse into what Kenyon is like, and almost it was just a very, very like close conversation that I really appreciated. And like it already gave me like the things like, oh, I kind of want to go to Kenyon. This gave me like a pretty good idea of, at least I applied there almost immediately right afterwards. But after that, Kenyon and I actually, Ellen and I actually kept in contact through emails, and also like she sent me I remember she sent me a note card. And she remembered the major that I was interested in. She remembered that I was interested in ultimate frisbee, and it like almost like after that I was like if I can like that whole experience of being so close with the people around you at Kenyon, and that like intellectual conversations that arise from the place that you're at, that very much did become true when I got here, is kind of what made me come to Gambia or come to Kenyon.
Yeah, thank you to the four of you for sharing your stories. I think it's so fun because everyone has their own individual story of how they first found Kenyon and what led them to Kenyon. But I think if you were to paint kind of a broad brush and pull out some sort of themes that connect everyone's story, it's that sense of camaraderie and energy and connectedness that you ultimately feel in one way or another, whether it's through, like with Vic, with a high school visit with Ellen, or something along those lines, getting to visit, or like Ubon connecting with her interviewer. These kind of connections are really, really genuine and really just in abundance at Kenyon. And I think that's ultimately one theme that you can find, that all students looking at Kenyon ultimately is what leads them to, select a place like Kenyon, is that sense of camaraderie and connectedness that you feel with so many different elements of the community. So yeah, thank you all for sharing your story. Ellen, do you want to
Yeah, we already have a question, so that's
Fantastic.
good. That's great. You got to keep them coming, because that really
please.
makes the conversation go well. So the first question has been, what is your favorite class, or what has been your favorite class at Kenyon, and why? So it could be one that you're currently in, but it could also be one that you've taken in the past.
I can actually start off. One of the classes that I took was a special topic class called Biochemistry and Ethics. And interestingly enough, it was actually taught by the president of the college, and which is kind of really cool, because like the fact that he, despite being the president of the college, he still teaches courses and is very involved with the students here. But the class was actually super interesting because it was a very small class. It had 11 students, and it was a particularly interdisciplinary course. And that we like looked at ethics, we looked at like legal disputes, and we looked at the actual science behind certain biochemistry and like biochemical like advancements. And every week we essentially had a discussion on there was no lecture involved actually, and every week we essentially had a discussion for 3 hours about what the legal implications of certain biotechnologies would be, which changed every week. And actually during the course itself, part of the course, which it was slightly modified, but was actually involved in the course, we were talking about a pandemic and what would happen in a scenario where we had a person that was from the FDA that actually came and talked to us during that course. This was actually when we got sent home in the middle, but it was over Zoom. We were actually talking about it, so that like discussion kind of shaped into like how COVID is going to be handled in the future, and how we are handling it currently. And the fact that class had so much discussion, so much I guess that intellectual conversation thing that I brought up earlier made that class so interesting to me.
I can go next. I'm really bad at picking favorites, but the first one that came to mind was this journalism class that I took, because it was kind of like a rare class to take at Kenyon. I thought about going to journalism school for a while, so it was really nice to like have like a liberal arts type journalism class, because it was like literary journalism. So we read journalistic books and also watched like journalistic movies. We had a whole true crime like section where we read a lot of true crime books. And it was just really interesting because it taught me how to write in a different way and how to read in a different way, especially how to read like journalism in a different way. And it was just like, the professor was phenomenal. The class was phenomenal. It was like a highlight for me. And it kind of like reconfirmed like my desire to be an English major. It really, like, after that class, I was like, okay, I'm going to declare my English major now. Like, this is what I want to do. So I loved that class. It was so fun.
So until this semester, my favorite class used to be the Introduction to Linguistics and Anthropology, but I am currently in my favorite class. I'm so bad. It switches so much. It's called the History of Public Health, and it is so amazing. I am so excited. I don't know if you can tell, we have it at 7 p.m. every Wednesday. It's also like a seminar class as well. and is currently being taught by a visiting prof. So she just came to Kenyon, and we are looking at, of course, like it's public health questions on like pandemics and epidemics, but we're looking at it through like the historical perspective. So last week we spoke about yellow fever. This year it's like this week it's cholera. Next week it will be Lassa fever as well. So it's so amazing just looking at germ theory and understanding why quarantine exists, where it's coming from, especially in the midst of what is happening right now, to just, you know, contextualize it in the academic sense of the word, and also bring in like the lived in experiences of people, and, you know, plague journals and things like that. It's so exciting. I love it so much.
Yeah, I think my answer for this question changes every time because I've had so many, favorite classes here. But one that really stands out is this class called Methods of Promoting Science Understanding. And this was a course that was off campus in a Kenyon-owned building called the Wright Center. And we volunteered at this place called SPY, which stands for Where Science and Play Intersect. And it's kind of like a really small interactive science museum for a lot of the children in Mount Vernon, which is a town like 5-10 minutes away from Kenyon. And we would go every week and we would make all of like these science experiments. I remember one time we were outside in the playground doing like egg drops with a lot of like the Mount Vernon students, and it was just so much fun. But I think that class also helped me to become a good communicator. We would watch a lot of science videos, and we would try to explain them to 10-year-olds, which turns out to be a really, really difficult thing to do. So I think that class, it was incredibly fun, but also it really taught me a lot.
Jack, there's already another question. Do you?
Amazing. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, how easy is it to take courses outside of your major at Kenyon?
I can definitely answer this question. So I'm a mobile major, a molecular biology major. But this year, I am taking cultural anthropology. Let's see what else. A bunch of like different like labs, like gene manipulation, organic chemistry, and creative writing. So it's so easy to take a lot of different classes outside of your major at Kenyon, and it's even encouraged. And the way that our diversification requirements are set up, you're encouraged to take courses in the humanities, in the natural sciences, and we even pull out art. And so you're required to take 2 art courses. And so I think, it's such a good way to figure out like other passions that you might have. For me, I took 1 English class my first semester, and I realized that I had like this love for like creative writing. And so the way that our diversification requirements are set up, you will definitely be taking a lot of courses that are outside your major.
Yeah,
I do
Vic.
want to add,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Vic, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to add to that, like really quick, to the fact that because one of the things that it's so easy to take courses outside of your major, that it's actually really tempting to want to major or minor in like everything, and it's like because of the professors being so like so interested in what they teach, and the classes being so interesting, it's so you have to be kind of careful, I guess, not want to major and minor in everything, and I guess that's kind of what I wanted to add.
Yeah,
No,
I
thank
had
you.
a whole semester where I wanted to be a math major, just because I took a math class that I really loved, and I was like, oh my God, I should be a math major. And I'm like not even the best at math. So I'm not like bad at math, obviously, but it wasn't like super easy for me. And I think that's part of what I liked, is like I felt constantly challenged in the math class. And it taught me so much about like how I learn, and also taught me to be a better writer, because I had to write in that math class too. And it was very different writing than any other class I'd ever taken. And as an English major, I feel like that math class helped me a lot, even for like my major. So I definitely think you will take classes outside of your major, and they'll help you be a better student within your own discipline. So.
Fantastic. So I have another question that, for the good of the order, to pose to you all. Maybe switching gears a little bit and talking a little bit about what life on campus is like, right? Like I know certainly with COVID, life on campus is much different than what it would typically be during any other year. But I'm wondering if we can paint our audience a picture of what life at Gambier might look like in a typical year, right? So. To the extent that you all, would like to share, talk a little bit about what social life looks like on college, and for you in particular, with the different, all four of you are involved in so many different extracurricular commitments, and so, maybe just share really briefly about what that looks like for you, and then also maybe a little bit about how you found those groups too, right? Because I think a place like Kenyon, there's so much opportunity and such a plethora of different chances to get involved and to meet people. But, how do you go about finding those opportunities to make those connections, to be a part of these clubs? And so if you all wouldn't mind maybe sharing a little bit about that as well. Yeah, Upam.
I can definitely start us off on this question. I feel like there is too much to do on campus, far too much. Just for the sake of numbers, we currently have about 120 student orgs on campus, and these are like vastly different. So you have affinity groups, you have a cappella, you have theater, you have like K-pop, you just like literally anything. I think that's one of the good things with being like a fully residential college, in that all the students are really committed in ensuring that this is a space that you can be authentically yourself and you can have fun while you're at it. So we do a lot of different things. For me, I mentioned earlier that I'm a part of a lot of affinity groups, so the Black Student Union, the African Students Association, and Sisterhood. But at the same time, I'm also a member of a lot of STEM groups as well. So KC Meds, bio journals, all the things for the books, and then the fun things like the ones you just dance, like ballroom dancing here and there. And I think to your question, Jack, about how do we get involved in these groups, I think like it's very important to mention one big thing that we always have at the beginning of the year, that's called the involvement fair. So like every group will be featured, and this year, fun fact, I actually organized the fair because the Office of Student Engagement was so overwhelmed with orientation and just moving everything online, and they said, oh, would you, as VP of Student Life, would you be so kind? And I said, okay, sure. And the work was a lot, but it was amazing to really interact one-on-one with the presidents of these different clubs and get to really understand the sense behind the clubs and help our first years to connect as much as they can. So a lot of these clubs, of course, will have like weekly or bi-weekly meetings. They can apply for funding. This is more like the logistics behind running the clubs. But the thing is, one good thing about Kenyon is that it's very, like the social circles are very malleable. Like they're not fixed in stone. Like you do not have to be a member of any club to attend that meetings club. Like you can just show up one day if you feel like it, and then you don't show up another day. Like no one will come at you and be like, where have you been? That's not how it works. And because of that, it really makes the community to be very wholesome. It's very supportive. Like I'm not in theater, but I attend all the theater shows that ever come on campus. Mamma Mia till today is my favorite of all time. So it just shows you how it is. Like it goes to show, I think, more about the personality of Kenyan students. They're willing to be supportive, they're willing to be there. And because of that, it just makes the social life at Kenyon very vibrant. And every Friday, you cannot be looking for what to do. It will come to find you. So that's how it has been for me.
Yeah, going off of Ubang's point, I joined like a lot of things pretty late. Like my freshman year, I did like rush a sorority, but beyond that, I wasn't super involved, just because I was kind of placed in Kenyon, and I just like didn't join as many things as I wanted to. But like I've joined so many things, even last year and even like this year. I've never worked on the newspaper until this year, and they needed a design editor, and I was like, hey, I know InDesign, and they were like, cool. And I like literally auditioned for a play last year on a whim, board of a playwriting organization, because I've like continued to get involved in theater. You really don't like have to stay in one lane. Kenyan students wear many hats, and you can like literally join something whenever you want, and people will be like excited for you. People were so nice to me. Like when I was auditioning for a play, nobody was like, "You're not a theater major, like you haven't been involved in theater like for your first half of college." Nobody cared. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's so great for you. We're so happy." So it's really just like a community where like people encourage you to try new things, and they'll be so like excited to welcome you into like new like clubs, even if you do it like your senior year on a whim. Like you can try anything you want, and it really is just so welcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ubong and Emmy both said it, so well. And just a quick shout out, Ubong did an incredible job organizing the involvement fair this year. It was all virtual, but it was so cool to watch all the videos of all the student orgs. Because we are 100% residential, everyone lives on campus, and so Kenyon does a really incredible job, making sure that, we're never bored. There's always something going on. On a typical Friday night, I'm going to like an a cappella concert, or a theater production. We have this thing at one of our galleries, the Horn Gallery, called a horn show, and we invite a lot of bands to come and play, and we just kind of like go and enjoy the show. That's really fun. We also have this thing called Weaver Wednesday, where every Wednesday at night from like 7 to 11, a lot of student organizations will host, something very like fun and relaxing. The cheer team, we did decorating cookies and watching Bring It On, the movie. So, whenever you're stressed in the middle of the week, that's something you can do. Yeah, but there's always something going on. And I think, we have a lot of all campus events, and also we have an all student email. So whenever, there's an event, you can send it out to the entire school and everyone will know about it.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing a little bit about extracurricular life at Kenyon and how abundant it is, right? And how it takes so many different shapes. I think, for those of you in our audience that have interests or passions in multiple different areas outside the classroom, you don't have to sacrifice any of those passions in coming to Kenyon, right? Like you can wear all those hats, and we have 4 examples here with us tonight of doing so many different things across a wide array of different areas. And so that's very much the norm at a place like Kenyon, is students have an academic interest or two and a number of different commitments that they choose to pursue outside the classroom. So if that's what you would like your college experience to be able to incorporate a lot of different interests and passions of yours, you will be at home at a place like Kenyon. You will very easily find the opportunity in so many different avenues. We have a great question here, wondering for those of you that want to share one maybe piece of advice that you would give to all of our students that are currently undergoing the college search process, right? For some of you that might be a little bit more fresher than others in our panel, but if you can think of anything as you were going through the college search process, what is some little nugget of wisdom that you might be willing to share with our audience that you wish you would have known when you were going through the process?
I would say don't like underestimate yourself. I feel like for me, because it can be so competitive, I was just constantly like all of these things I did in high school, even though I know like I have good grades and I was involved extracurricularly and I volunteered, like I always felt like it wasn't going to be good enough for any college, because things are just so competitive nowadays. And sometimes it feels like you have to like be like a Nobel Peace Prize winner to get into the college you want to. And like, you don't. You can just be yourself and be the most well-rounded, like whole human being you can be. And especially from working in admissions, like we're looking at you guys holistically. Well, I mean, I don't decide if you get in, but like the admissions officers, like look at you holistically and like consider your circumstances and really just like approach it with kindness. So like, I know it's such a stressful process, and that like you might be like, oh my God, I'm completely incapable. You're not. Like, you're smart, and colleges will see that and they'll see the value you have. So like, don't underestimate yourself.
Yeah, Ubon, go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. I think Emmy said it so well. One thing I would add is definitely to humanize the process for yourself. I think when I was applying, and now that I work in admissions, I'm like, what? Why? You should reach out to the admissions directors, like get to know the essence of the school, because whether you like it or not, schools are different. The vibes, I would say the vibes are different. And until you understand the personality of a school, you will not really be able to exist in that school. Like apart from your major and things that you want to do, think about you just living in that space and being there. Because in as much as you choose a school has to choose you. This is what I feel about college. It's really a two-way street, because as you are being changed, as you're a college student, you're learning, you're growing. At the same time, the school is also being impacted by your presence and you being there. So think about it that way, as a two-way street of an interaction between you and the college. And at the same time, when you are applying, like really trust yourself. Like if you're writing your essay, one thing that my counselor told me, like, oh, Miss Dory, she told me that changed my life. She said, if you write an essay, like for your college essay, and you leave it like in the walkway of your high school, and someone that knows you picks up that essay and reads it without your name being on, and they know that you wrote that essay, that means that essay is yours. It should really reflect you as an individual. I know sometimes I see a lot of like blog posts now that I'm really into admissions saying, oh, how to write the perfect college essay. And they're like, oh, read 2 essays that got people into Harvard. Like, please, it should be you. It should be your essay. Don't try to follow like a formula, whatever that you have seen on the internet, because it's really about your personality. And if a college is right for you, they'll be able to see that right on, and you would be able to get into like wherever you want. I hope it's Kenyon, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Vic, did you have something you want to add? Or yeah, Vic, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, Ubon covered it pretty well, but I think one of the most important things that I do want to stress is definitely, I think one big thing is you should email your admissions rep and like talk to them and understand like the vibe of the college itself. I think that's the big part of it, especially what you said between like choosing a college versus a college chooses you. I think that's super important to understand, because like a large part of why I'm at Kenyon is because of the fact that I talked to Alan at the time, because of the fact that like I understood what Kenyon was like and why I thought it was right for me. So I think that was like a big part of why I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, I think, everyone said it so well. I would definitely say, talk to a lot of current students. I think that way you can kind of get like a really authentic, view of like a school. And, trust the process. And if you have a gut feeling, go with it. And last thing, I am definitely someone who likes to procrastinate and put things off till the last minute, but I promise you this whole process will be a lot less stressful if you take like a little bit of time out of your day. Just do little by little, and so that way you don't have to rush at the end to all try to do it all at once. But yeah, just kind of trust the process.
Amazing. Thank you to the 4 of you for your very, very, great wisdom. And it's just, you all hit on so many fantastically relevant points, is that, we are here to help you all, we as in the 6 of us, for all of you in our audience. Again, we have our emails in each where you see our faces. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Certainly I am the rep, Kenyon's representative for the state of Illinois. So, I would be a great person to contact if you have nitty gritty questions about like how to apply to Kenyon or financial aid or something of the sort. But if anything that any of our current students said tonight you want to follow up on, please do not hesitate to reach out to them, and you all can continue that conversation after tonight. With the few minutes that we have left, I just want to really kind of briefly give a broad strokes overview of what applying to Kenyon looks like, and a little bit about financial aid as well. But before that, I want to thank our current students, the 4 of you. Fantastic job as always, and your insight and perspective is always highly valued, and I love doing these sessions with you all because it makes it so easy, because you all are just really good at what you do. And with that said, let me just jump a little bit into admissions and financial aid, and then I will bid you all adieu for the evening, and we'll go from there. So in terms of applying to Kenyon, there's 2 different ways in which you can apply. There's the common application and the coalition application. We have no preference between the two in terms of which one you can select to apply through. Just make sure you select one or the other. Kenyon also has 3 different types of applications. We have early decision and regular decision. So if you're unfamiliar with early decision, basically that's a binding contract. So if you apply early decision, that means that you will, if you're admitted, that means you will enroll at Kenyon and you will withdraw all the other applications to the schools that you've applied to. And then regular decision is just your typical apply to Kenyon. And if you're admitted, you can say, yes, I'm coming to Kenyon, or no, I'm going elsewhere. One kind of important point on that note is that Kenyon does not have what's called early action. So you might be considering some institutions that you can apply to which you can apply early and hear back early without that being binding. So Kenyon does not have early action. So just kind of be aware of that when you're looking at other schools. Kenyon specifically, we have early decision, which is binding, and then regular decision, which is just your standard non-binding type of application. A lot of times we get the question of, what type of student does Kenyon look for? And I think, you know, everyone in the audience, you are looking at 4 current students of types of students we are looking for, right? I think the simple question is, we are looking for students that we know will succeed at Kenyon, and success takes shape in so many different ways. And we have 4 examples of what success looks like at Kenyon here. You know, certainly Kenyon is an academic institution, so we want to make sure, you know, you are a good student. So we want to make sure the classes you're taking in high school will prepare you for the rigor that you will find in day 1 at Kenyon. So we'll look for if you are a good student. But not only do we want to see good students, but we are very much looking for good roommates and good teammates and good hallmates, and who you are as a person, right? Because certainly classes will be very important during your time at Kenyon, but it will not be the only thing that you are involved with at Kenyon. So we want to make sure that we find good students, good teammates, hallmates, clubmates, roommates, everything of the sort, right? So who you are as kind of a full person. And our students here tonight have really alluded to that in many different ways as well. One important point with this year also is that Kenyon has adopted a test optional policy. And so for those of you that are seniors in high school this year, basically test optional means that we at Kenyon have 0 expectation of seeing any sort of standardized test be submitted as a part of your application. So with that said, if you've taken a standardized test and you would like to submit those scores as a part of your application, please feel free to do so. But if you've not been able to take the test, this is a active choice that the institution has made in response to all the complications and challenges that COVID-19 and the pandemic has created in terms of accessing testing centers and things of the sort. So we realize full well that there has been, maybe some of you have encountered issues on sitting for the ACT or SAT. So please realize, for those of you that are seniors, we are test optional for this cycle. One final point about financial aid. The biggest point is that we offer need and merit-based aid. Kenyon as an institution puts much more of its resources into its need-based pot of aid, if you will, because the biggest point to note from the need-based side is that Kenyon will meet 100% of your demonstrated need. So basically, if you and your family are interested in applying for need-based financial aid, you'll fill out a few forms that the Office of Financial Aid will use to determine how much your family is estimated to be able to pay for Kenyon, and then what you are, the need that you demonstrate from that, Kenyon will meet that number 100%. So essentially that means that there will be no gapping within your financial aid package. So it's not like there's X amount of dollars that you need to pay out of pocket that Kenyon does not account for you with your aid package. And again, Kenyon is in a small number of cohort of schools that is able to make that promise to all of its students that are admitted. So realize that that is a significant promise that we make to all of our students that are admitted, that your aid will be met 100% through all 4 of your years. With that said, again, any questions you all might have about anything related to Kenyon, please do not hesitate to follow up with any of us. I want to thank you all that joined us here this evening for your time, and we really, really appreciate everything that you shared with us this evening with questions. And also, again, thanks to our fantastic panelists, to you all, and Ellen for being our fantastic co-moderator as well. Thanks to everyone. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you all, be safe and be well, and we would love to continue the conversation with you about Kenyon. Thanks again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening with the other colleges that you might be meeting with. Thanks to you all. Be safe and be well. Bye now.